Hello and welcome to the Blog Hop. My name is Jennifer Savari and I've got paper crafting adventures on YouTube. And I was so excited. I've never really done much with buttons. And I got these translucent buttons. They have a sparkle to them and they're just beautiful. The colors are great for a variety of applications. In addition to regular buttons, I was so impressed with Buttons Galore and how they had such a wide variety of the fun, whimsical buttons. And I loved these caramel apples. And so I ordered a bunch of these little caramel apples, and I'll show you how I used them. I love how the backings just easily come off. They store very well, and they're just nice, high quality, and super fun. In addition to great buttons, they have the most beautiful sequins, and you really get a lot for the money. I've ordered a whole bunch of sequins once I got my first order in. And the sequins that I used for my little shaker card were called the Safari Sunset. But I was just going to show you some of these sequins that they offer because they're really nice big sets. I don't want to take up too much time showing sequins, but you've got to see all these different beautiful colors. I don't know all the names, they'll be listed below, but there's Forest Gems, and I think that one's called Autumn Afternoon. Paws and Pets is beautiful. And I can't tell you how generous the portions are with these sequins. And this is the cube, and it's got some buttons in it. And I just thought it would be worth it to show you in person kind of what they look like and how big they are. Here's a tin of sequins and just, I mean, really, really beautiful. So I used buttons in a variety of ways that I'm really excited to share. First of all, I used them as an actual closure, so there's no bow involved here. And I made some little dog biscuit treats. This is a little dog biscuit button. I thought that was so cute. And so I glued it onto the little tiny tags by Poppy Stamps. And see how that button just comes off? It wasn't a bow, it just slid. So they're fun to use as closures instead of a bow. And then here I will link the recipe for these dog biscuits where I found that. Our dogs absolutely love them. They're great biscuits. But the other thing I wanted to show was how I used a printed, clear acetate over top, but you wouldn't have to have a color back behind it. It would look really pretty and elegant, not just for Halloween, but this is a really elegant box. And you could just put a little black button there with some tulle. Now here's another little dog baggie, treat baggie that I made, and I'm actually going to make this after I get done showing you all the other projects. But again, it was a slide off button closure. I wouldn't recommend that for something that was going to constantly be opened and closed, but it's a great little presentation. So for the shaker card, I used the oak leaf oval collage, the stitched pumpkin leaves, and the pumpkin from the pumpkin collage. And I love that pumpkin collage. It can be used so many different ways. There's the little eyes to make it a jack-o'-lantern. You can make a frame out of it, or you can just cut the pumpkin out. And that's what I did for this card. For the frame, I used the pointed oval frame, and then that gorgeous safari sunrise for the shaker elements, the sequins. And what I did was I wrapped the pumpkin with some little orange twine and then tied a bow through the button and attached it there. And that was a really cute way to do a button. And so this was the caramel apple, and I glued it on top of a button and put some sequins back behind it. And I loved this is actually a little lawn fawn box, but I used a double-sided paper, and that was nice because it created an interior pattern. Now this was just a paper, the black against that pumpkin collage, but here I am using it as a jack-o'-lantern. And the bats, that is a button. These buttons are so cute. And then here's the little witch hat, and they make the cutest little just embellishments, easy. And I made a white box. And here's where I just put some tulle back behind the button and tied one simple little knot, and that was a little bow. And I used the pumpkin swirl for that. Now, this little box has nothing to do with anything. I just had to show it because it's so much fun. I got the little tiny gift box from Lawn Fun, and I am giving my little Halloween candy away in these this year because it is one little eyeball, and it's an inexpensive way. The kids don't know they're getting gypped with one little eyeball. I mean, it's a great little chocolate, but when a really cute kid comes to the door, I like to give them handfuls. And so this will help me keep that all in check. And hopefully my candy lasts a little bit longer this year. So I hope that gives somebody a fun idea to do as well. Anyway, so to make the little dog treat bag, I used the We Are Memory Keepers gift bag punch board. And I just followed the instructions. And I'm using the Tim Holtz craft paper. And I love how it is double-sided. And so it's got two different colors for one sheet of paper. So that gives a contrasting color along that same neutral craft line for the interior as well. So to create the window, I used the pinpoint rectangle layers set with the size that I wanted, and then just cut out a window there. Now the holes are going to be on the top of the bag there. Next, I grabbed one size of the frames, one size up, to layer them together to create a frame that would go around that window on the outside. Now I used a Heartfelt Creation, the Perfect Pooches set of stamps, and I just stamped and embossed onto some clear acetate some bones, and I just thought that would be cute, and it says woof. And so I made that and then cut out a little window where I wanted it. Now it's important, I should have folded that before I glued it, but if you try to fold it after you put that acetate in, sometimes it doesn't want to fold very well, so I always try to fold it prior. And then I did want a colorful backing behind that embossing, and so I just took another piece of that craft, which is all along that neutral line, and I just backed it and then put the little frame on the outside. Once that glue had a chance to set up a little bit, I went ahead and took my bone folder and helped those score lines along so they would be nice and crisp. And then I was able to just glue the little bag together. Now the next step was I used these stitched market tags, and I love these little tags for gluing the buttons onto. It's almost like a little necklace effect where you don't have to glue the button to an actual bow, especially if you want that bow to be functional. You don't want to have to glue something onto the middle of it. And so these stitched market tags really allow a cute little loop around the button, but don't affect the functionality. Now the tool, in this case, it wouldn't have, but the tool coming through the buttons, it's not hard to do. It takes a little bit of patience, but you just kind of work it through there, and then you can just grab one little tiny piece, and then look how easy it does come through. It just comes right through once you get it to going there. And then I just looped it back through. Now, I probably should have made those holes a little bit closer. I did follow the template on the punch board, but in the future, I will probably put them closer together, more toward the center, and I'll just do that with a hole punch. And the reason why, I'll show you here in a second, that ripped, and you can see that it ripped right there, and it's just because it wanted to be closer, because I wanted that button to be real tight so that it closed real tight there. So since I'm also going to be using a little dog bone button as an embellishment, I wanted to remove the backing of the button so that it would lay flat, and this was very simple to do. I just took some clippers and I just clipped the back of it off. It really was not difficult to do at all. And this just allowed me to hot glue it onto that little stitched market tag. And again, it was just nice and flat that way. And then I had taken some twine and just looped it through that tag, tied a little knot, and then was able just to slip that around the button. And that little bone is a gift in itself, especially to another card maker. You know, they could use it as an embellishment. But again, I loved how it did not affect that functionality. So there's my blog hop participation, and I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed making them. And try them for yourself. They are so much fun. Have a great day.